You'd be like, oh, that kid, he's got a dog feed. He's all messed up. I love it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Listography. Jason, Joe, and Crams are here, and it is the 1980s on Songs of the Year. Finally made it through the 70s. I don't know if you remember from the Albums of the Year series, you will recall that I was not super thrilled with the early 80s, citing 81 and 82 as my two least favorite years of all time. So we're heading into that. That's where I am. That said, even though the pool is far shallower, there's still a lot of great stuff. So I'm ready. How you guys looking?
Oh, I love 1980. I think I have three songs here that are probably top 30 or top 40 or top 50 all time for me. Like it came down to three songs, and it's usually either a runaway winner or it's down to two. But I had a decision to make for gold, silver, and bronze here. But I came down to my tried and true go-to classic for my winner. But I'm loaded, and I got a couple of surprises here that will put my reputation on the line or dismiss what people thought of me in general. So here we go.
Yeah, I like 1980. I love the early 80s. 80, I think, was my favorite year of the 80s, that or 82, maybe. And there's a ton of great songs. I had a lot of trouble picking. I don't know if any of these are like in my really like upper top peak of my favorite songs of all time, but there's just a ton of them to choose from.
All right. Well, if you are new here, the way this works, we each pick 5 songs from the Billboard Hot 100. They could have charted at any time during the year, even if just for a single week. If they charted, they're eligible. Then we do a second list of 5 songs that are wild cards. These songs can be anything at all. They could have also charted. They could be deep cuts, B-sides, or from soundtracks, anything like that. One of the 2 lists will be one song short because we save our favorite song of the year for the end. And right before we reveal the winner, we also make our selection for our least favorite top 40 song of the year. I will go first. The Hot 100. I'm going to start out with a band that all 3 of us are big fans of. I've got The Spirit of Radio, Rush, pack a ton into 5 minutes. There's like as many parts in this song as there is to some other like 10-minute epics. And the crazy thing about it is that it's all super infectious and memorable and radio ready. It's an amazing pop song, but also prog song, but also, rock song. It's great. Next pick is going to be back-to-back years for the Cars in the Billboard list. I've got Touch and Go. Really weird verse on this song. The drummer and the bass player are playing in 5/4 while the rest of the band is playing in 4/4. Really strange for a song that made it onto the radio. The chorus is super cool too. You got all these really different guitar sounds. There's like a almost country-ish clean tone picking. Then there's another overdriven lead tone. Then a tremolo guitar comes in. Then you got Greg Hawkes in the background doing all kinds of cool stuff with the keyboards. There's so many different colors going on in this track. So it's really cool. Then I've got McCartney. He's back on my list with Coming Up from McCartney 2. Cram's excited. So the live version is actually the one that charted in the US. It went to number 1. The original studio version went to number 2 in the UK. Either version would have made my selections, but I prefer the studio version. I think maybe the US wasn't, quite warmed up to the more synthetic sound of McCartney 2 and the sped up vocals that he used in the studio. But John Lennon apparently really loved this track, and allegedly it is the track that inspired him to get back to recording in 1980. I don't know if that is true or not. Then I'm going with Games Without Frontiers. Speaking of weird songs that made it to the radio, there is nothing about this track that would make you think that's a definite hit, but also at the same time, it's amazing. So obviously, like if people hear it, they're going to love it because it's just undeniably cool. The whistling and everything, such a good hook. And then my last pick for the Hot 100 is going to be Over You by Roxy Music. Actually, my favorite Roxy Music song. I absolutely love it. I think it's so catchy. And I love the lyrics and the double meaning of Over You. It's just, I think, a really cleverly written song.
Yeah, Over You. It's a good one. I just missed my list. I'm not being facetious at all. I'm serious. I really do like that song. But it didn't make my list. What did make my list? I'm going to go a couple of, well, this one's a little hokey. And but that one guy who really loves Olivia Newton-John's going to love it. I got Magic from Olivia Newton-John from the Xanadu soundtrack. It's just so catchy. I don't know. It's just a really catchy song. I like it. All right. Boo to you, Cramser. Also on my list, another super duper catchy song from my boys from Philly. Got Hall & Oates with Kiss on my list. Love the heavy piano, the rock and guitar solo, great drums, and the vocal interplays. Always great between Mr. Hall and Mr. Oates. So it's on my list. Yeah, that's on my list. Also on my list, I got my favorite Journey song, maybe Any Way You Want It. I play this in my band, so I should be sick of it, but I'm not. Like, I just never can ever get sick of this song. I love Neil Sean's guitar solos, so melodically pleasing. And, you know, his tone on it's great. And I really love the scene from Caddyshack when Rodney Dangerfield's like, so what? So let's dance. And they all dance to this song. It's great. Also my list, we're gonna do one more from the Billboards, because my number one favorite of the year is from the Billboards this year. It doesn't happen too often. But my number two is gonna be Stevie Wonder, back on the list with I Ain't Gonna Stand For It, his country song. So bizarre. Like, he even does like the low to like high kind of like drawl, like classic country artists. And like there's some lap steel and sort of like guitar that's like trying to sound, or I don't even know if it's guitar or synth, like also kind of sounding like country, but also kind of like weird and robotic. And it's just really bizarre, like mashup of country. And there's like this tons of slap bass from Nathan Watts, and Stevie does the drumming on it, which is great. So it's just a really bizarre song. It went to number 11, which really surprised me. I didn't think it was a single, but it was. So I was happy to get it on my list because I just think it's the best.
Glad you brought up Caddyshack, because I'm All Right by Kenny Loggins just missed my worst song of the year. I hate the way he sings on that song, especially when he goes, why you gonna pick a fight? And it's just the lamest thing ever.
I love that song. And if I remembered it came out this year, it would have made my list for sure.
Well, you're not all right then. You got to remember shit like that. All right, I got two in common with Jason here. I've got Spirit of the Radio by Rush, Permanent Waves. Yeah, Jason nailed it. And it is probably their most radio-friendly song. It's really positive and fun, and they get the reggae breakdown and everything. And they even end like with that like classic rock piano coming in before they close it all out. Really great. And just that circular riff at the beginning by License, disgusting. Also have Games Without Frontiers, probably one of my 50 favorite songs of all time. Absolutely so cool. And, you know, the whistling into the pre-chorus is mad awesome. It's very cool. You know, no cymbals on it, I don't think, which was kind of a Peter Gabriel staple for a bit. Very cool. Then I've got one from Jason's album of the year in 79 that charted this year. I've got Here Comes My Girl by Tom Petty. Probably one of my favorite Petty songs. I think he's more of a songs guy than an albums guy. I think some of his songs are some of the best ever. I love this song. I think the piano in it just brings it all together. But I love how the verse is just kind of like this blue collar soliloquy about just like, everything's so tough. And then it just got this really nice, elegant lift, really beautiful when he starts talking about, you know, his affection for his lover. And then here she comes and the whole band takes off. Very cool. And then two songs that I don't think anyone would ever predict that I love, and I really love them. I got Ride Like the Wind by Christopher Cross. I love this song. I think the percussion in it is fantastic. I love his voice. I mean, there's not a lot of really soft, super soft, tacky, sentimental stuff that I really adore, but I love this song. And I love when he gets like a little bit angry and he's like, "You gotta ride like the wind," and then I think it's perfect. And then the other one I've got is Sailing by Christopher Cross, which I also just love. I love that crystal clear, beautiful, dreamlike, just yachting into the sunset arpeggio. And I think the drums in the chorus bring it all together when he does the Where I Want to Be and just those little ton hits without a crash on the downbeat. It's so pretty, and I don't know, I'm a sucker for it. I don't know why I hate most stuff that's like this. Like if you pick Christopher Cross on Spotify or whatever, I'm not going to like most of the suggested artists that go along with it, including my worst song of the year, which I'll reveal later. But yeah, these two Christopher Cross juggernaut hits, I just love. And, you know, he wouldn't have another hit until the late 80s, early 90s with Chris Cross Gonna Make You Jump. So that's what I've got. Got these two by Christopher Cross. Unexpected.
Bizarre. Totally bizarre.
Once you said that Ride Like the Wind was one, I knew the other one was going to be Sailing.
Why would you think that? Why on earth would
Because
you
Sailing's
think
better.
that?
All right. Wildcard time. I'm going to kick it off with the Soft Boys with I Want to Destroy You. This is Robin Hitchcock's band. It's a little bit punky, a little psychedelic, a little bit jangly, a little power pop. But this song makes my list for one reason only, and that is the high harmonies. My God, it's awesome. Love it. My next pick is going to be an album that came this close to making my Albums of the Year nominations. Didn't quite make it, but love this track. Looking for Clues by Robert Palmer. This is kind of a more synthetic new wave approach for him. Got Chris Frantz from Talking Heads on drums. It's got a really futuristic sound. Got this really fast vocal cadence too. And there's all these weird little rhythmic interruptions throughout the song. It's got a surprise xylophone solo. Just a lot of cool little twists and turns. Very cool song. Then I've got my favorite song by Dire Straits, according to my 2020 self, and I'm going to stick with that. I've got Tunnel of Love. Just great writing, great arranging, great playing, and it's ever so slightly a little slicker and tighter sounding than the first two Dire Straits records. It's got this perfect balance of, you know, what they were and heading more in a commercial direction later on. I think it just strikes the perfect balance. My last one, aside from my winner, is going to be Teenage Wildlife by David Bowie. Some of my very favorite guitar work ever played by Robert Fripp is on this track. It is so cool. Bowie's vocals are incredible on this track too. Tons of personality. This song, like my selection the previous year of Up the Junction, this one doesn't really have a very well-defined chorus. So it's kind of interesting. Roy Bittan on keys again. He's cropping up everywhere, but love this song. One of my favorite Bowie songs. Definitely in my top 10 Bowie tunes. Probably my favorite of his in the 80s, at least.
Okey-dokey. My 5 from 1980. We'll start with a little Steely Dan, making the charts. Not the charts. I don't think the song charted. Making my chart with Gaucho from Gaucho. This will be the last Steely Dan, I do believe. But it's going out with a bang. It's a super sleazy song. You got that really like excellently cheesy saxophone all over it that they stole from some soft jazz player, but they make it all work, and it's just a really catchy gem from Gaucho. Also on my list, I got a little Prince of Darkness action, Ozzy Osbourne's Mr. Crowley. Love Randy Rhoads' guitar solos, just all over this track. Amazing. Nothing like I think you hear before this, like really kind of setting the tone for metal guitar. And that just giant organ sounds like, you know, Dracula or Frankenstein or something evil, which is perfect because it's about Aleister Crowley. Also on my list, I'm going to go with Prince again. He's basically going to make every year from now until Bat Dance, probably. But I'm going to go with Dirty Mind for this year. It's totally like unlike 1979's stuff. It's like lo-fi bedroom pop almost. It's just him pretty much. Him, Dr. Fink with a great synth line, but it's really kind of stripped down and interesting kind of turn for Prince, who I guess he was unhappy with his last album or somebody. He was unhappy with someone, so he made this. It worked out great. I got to get a little something from Heaven and Hell. I'm going to go my favorite track from Black Sabbath, The Walk Away. It's a super catchy, great bass line, Dio rules. And my number one, another artist you'll find on my list for a long time now. I'm going to go Riot Act from Elvis Costello, the closer from Get Happy. Just a really nice kind of, not nice, a little darker tone to it. Elvis is really laying on the line vocally. The bass and drums are as excellent as they always are. Just incredible bass work. And the piano and synths and organ, like it's all combining for this like swirling paranoia. A little bit of psychedelia even in this one. Just a great track from Get Happy.
Okay, wild cards for old Crams are here. We're gonna lead off with a pair of songs. One of them would chart in 81, but I'm gonna throw it in this year. I'm gonna go with Stolen Car from The River by Bruce Springsteen. Really awesome, quiet song about a guy just kind of taking off with a stolen vehicle, thinking about a marriage that didn't really work out. It's really just him and electric guitar, really softly played, but there's these really bright little piano taps that are just bringing everything together. And also The River from The River by Bruce Springsteen, would chart in 81, but I love just the sound of this with that really elastic, like really just high-pitched acoustic guitar sound that sounds like it's just popping out of like a rainstorm combined with the harmonica and everything. And I think it's just a fantastically written song. I think everything is arranged perfectly. The drums come in at just the right time and he sings it great. Then I'm also with Joe with Prince, but I'm going with When You Were Mine. Absolutely just like pretty little pop gem. Has like a bit of a 50s flair to it, but then it's really coolly emotional into the chorus or the pre-chorus when he starts the I know you've been going with another guy. It's pretty good. And there's those geeky little background vocals. It's like don't care. So cool. I love it. Yeah, Joe bedroom, like lo-fi, very cool. Obviously my winner is from my wild card. So my last one is going to be a deep cut from Duke by Genesis. I'm going with Duchess, kind of one of the more proggier songs on that album when they were in that sweet spot before they went super poppy, but starts off with just like a weird piano instrumental part with like these synth gaziness just kind of floating in and out. And then it starts into just like this hard kind of piano love rocker. Really cool, but it's got this like swirling, like misty kind of sensation over the whole thing. And I think Phil sounds pretty darn good on it. So that's what I've got. Stolen Car, The River, When You Were Mine, and Duchess.
All right, worst of the year. I saw in the comments that someone was calling for us to select Escape, the Pina Colada song, as the worst song of 79. None of us did. But another song from that record made the top 40 in 1980, and it's far worse. It's the third single and the third top 40 hit by Rupert Holmes. It's called Answering Machine. Man, if you if you think Escape is bad, this song is totally ridiculous, complete with the beeps of dialing telephones and a sing-songy chorus about the outgoing message on an answering machine. And I was looking at the Wikipedia page for answering machines to find out when they really exploded in popularity. They were invented way back, but the Wikipedia article said they didn't gain wide popularity and weren't common until 1984. So It's kind of funny seeing a song like this in 1980. There's also a line where he says, "So I stepped out to buy some dog food for the cat," which is a horrible lyric. And of course, she calls right after he steps out. So she missed him. So they're playing phone tag, leaving messages back and forth. And every time you're about to, hear the answer to whether or not they'll run away and get married, the tape cuts off. And it happens in every chorus. It's horrible.
That dog food line is great. Come on. If Ian Hunter put together that line, you'd be just cheerleading all over the place. Come on. You'd be like, oh, that kid, he's got a dog food. He's all messed up. I love it.
No.
All right, I'm going to go. This one's a little cliche, but do a little Air Supply, All Out of Love. I mean, it's not the worst song in the world, but Air Supply pretty much sucks. And like this one works better like as a commercial, like in a commercial for like, whatever, laundry detergent or something than it does for like a radio hit. So yeah, I'll do that. I think that's a good worst song for the year. I'm happy with that one.
Sometimes that's all you say. Like one of my favorite things in Seinfeld when they're asking Elaine, like, how could you not like The English Patient? She's like, how about it sucks? Like, that's all it is with Air Supply.
And it's not that I hate this, super soft rock, but even compared to like Ambrosia and Seals and Crofts, like Air Supply they're not even like on the same universe. Terrible.
Or Christopher Cross.
Christopher Cross, yeah.
This one I don't like at all, but I don't hate it as much as like my usual choices. I usually come out with a pretty blistering passion for how much I dislike one. I just really find this one odd as a big hit. And it is Lady by Kenny Rogers. And especially for him, it's not like a big, everyone knows the lyrics, sing-along song. It doesn't have like a great melody. It doesn't have a big hooky chorus. It's really oddly mixed. His voice is really loud on this mix. It's really bizarre. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's not even like a pop song. It's not like a slow, pretty song. It's not like a sing-along classic. And the weird thing is the piano is so oddly dark. It's almost like it's like an Evanescence song. I just have no idea what the idea was behind the song. It seems like whatever it was executed poorly, but still managed to be a big hit. It's so confusing to me. Like it is nothing like any other Kenny Rogers song. And it's just not catchy. And it's like, how does a Kenny Rogers slow, dark piano kind of weird thing make it into the top 40? Bothers the hell out of me. So that's why I'm going with this song.
Not just the top 40. I believe that was a big number one.
But like, who's walking around singing Lady by Kenny Rogers? So weird.
Interesting choice. I don't know if I've ever even heard that song before. Like you could say Lady by Kenny Rogers and I'd be like, nothing. Literally brings up nothing. So must be a good choice.
All right. So Cram sent a text earlier today predicting that he and I would have the same winner for 1980. He hasn't mentioned this band at all yet in this video, so I think he's probably correct. My winner, favorite song of 1980, is Once in a Lifetime by Talking Heads. Such a unique song. Sounds almost like nothing else. Got those bubbly synths underneath from Brian Eno. David Byrne at his David Byrneiest, doing his kind of like preacher delivering a sermon routine, talk singing. Adrian Belew with all that guitar noise later in the song. It's got that relentless groove, just really simple bass line, just repetitious. And I don't know, there's no other song like it. It's so cool. I love the message of it about kind of just drifting through life, not really aware of all the decisions you're even making. And then you look up and all of a sudden you've got a family and a house and, how did you get there? Like you're not even implying that so many people aren't even really in control of their own destinies. And, I just think it's a great creative song and the mix is amazing. So original, I think.
Yep. And I'll just jump in real quick and say I was right. That is also my winner. Nothing much to add. It just sounds so cool. It sounds like you're in a fish tank in outer space floating around. Its drums are fantastic. And one thing you didn't mention is how cool and weird and everything is. And yet that chorus is one of the most catchy, just infectious chorus you'll ever hear. And at the end, when it starts getting that guitar added to it, it's just really bright and hopeful and uplifting. It's like you're comatose throughout the whole thing. And then you're finally just click like this level of enlightened awareness at the end. Amazing song. One of the best ever.
Well, I can't think of a better battle and a better sort of representation of what this channel is all about than Once in a Lifetime battling it out with ABBA. The winner takes it all versus Once in a Lifetime. It's going to be close. A lot of ABBA fans out there. Talking Heads, yeah, it's going to be tough.
I hope it's not close. For the fate of humanity, I don't know if Jason and I will be here for 81 if we lose this one, to be honest.
Well, I totally feel the same way. As everyone knows, Remain in Light. I think I gave it 2.5 stars, although I do love Once in a Lifetime. Not enough to get it on my list or my top 25, but great song. I can't speak negatively of it. Let's talk about ABBA for a little while. 20, 30 minutes probably. I have some notes. I think this is from Super Trooper. And at this point, like, their relationships have basically fallen apart. I don't know if they're still married or not, or publicly come out as divorced, but it's such an adult take on sort of a crumbling, dissipating relationship. It's marvelously arranged. Agnetha's got the lead on this, and she has that little kind of like quiver in her voice. It's not quite as strong as Frida's. So it really works for these sort of like heartbreak songs like SOS before it. But, obviously it's marvelously arranged with great piano, a driving momentum building, almost disco bass line throughout it. So it's sort of, disparate pieces here, but it all comes together. Just a magnificent little pop song. One of their best. Their last top 10, I think, in America. So I don't know. Let's see what it does against the mighty Talking Heads. We haven't really talked about them too much. So this one's for all the marbles here at Listography, bragging rights for eternity.
All right, everybody. So you know what to do. Go vote. There's a link down in the description that will take you to our website, and you can choose between ABBA and Talking Heads. You'll also find playlists down there for you to check out any of the songs mentioned in the video today. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, drop some comments down below with your favorite songs of 1980. Let us know what you think of our picks. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.